Okay guys, so here it is. Let me put the picture together for you. I said this on my Twitter, I don't know how, a few times now, and I posted in the group as well. So if Q1 is for stable coins, we had lived through that now. We understand that Q1 stable coins, and Q2 is market structure. And by Q3, Fedwire, this is July now, Fedwire goes live with ISO 20022. We'll talk about the significance of that. Fedwire is a real-time gross settlement funds transfer system operated by the Federal Reserve Banks, allowing financial institutions to electronically move funds. And SWIFT goes live. Any guesses what happens once SWIFT goes live? So SWIFT interlinks CBDCs at this point, right? When SWIFT is going live with CBDCs, or let me rephrase that, not when SWIFT goes live, but when SWIFT goes live with ISO 20022, that point will be a profound thing, because the world is set up now. The US is ready to go across border from Fedwire, and now SWIFT is ready to go. And SWIFT is the cross-border mechanism that everything goes through. That will begin to slow down as a DLT like RippleNet and other RTGSs, real-time gross settlement systems, come out. But for now, with SWIFT going live, this is the big grand poobah. This is the thing, okay? This is one of the moments we've been waiting for. This is one of the flip of the switches, if you will, all right? I guess to better refrain that the switch has already been flipped. It's just unlock, 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 and now these things can be used. That playing field is already exists. The board already exists. The people are already set up and in position at this point. They're just releasing regulations, releasing this regulation. And when SWIFT goes live, so here's the thing. So these countries, like I was saying, these individual jurisdictions are going to be staking. When I say staking, they're allowing their digital currency to gain strength in terms of adoption within its own region first. That's how this is going to work. To provide stability for these staking networks here, like Axelar, Corium, whatever Velo, whatever currency you're looking at, whatever crypto you're looking at, you stake it on its native network. You're creating strength and stability for that network. As these tariffs happen and the fragmentation of the world continues to happen, these individual countries are now staking within their country for allowing stability within that country now, which means that CBDC exists for that digital currency to be operating on digital rails, to go from this store and that bank, this financial institute, that whatever it is, wherever it's going. That means these digital rails already exist, and it's just a regulation implementation at that point. Right? And once that regulation implementation happens and these guys are going live with it, we are feeling that in our live world, in our real economy, right? From that fine finesse balance that we're living through right now of fear and greed and fear. Okay? So, Joel Katz, David Schwartz had also told us that now in 2025 we are looking at the market infrastructure interlinking at this point here. Okay, interlinking. David Schwartz said this. Let me read this to you guys. So here I'm on the SWIFT's website. I could have probably just loaded up the SWIFT's website. Do I have that here? I'm in there, but it's not looking at okay. So this, you know what, let me get that. Let me just get it. So here it is, right? SWIFT's releases, managing MT and MX messaging here, release. And I have the full dates, all the dates that they have here. So in terms of ISO going live, there's a lot more things than just ISOs going live, and that's it, right? There's these dates here of chronological things happening and events happening in chronological order. So I know for a fact these things are set up already, right? These are already set up. For them to go live, it's set up, right? It's not just, okay, here we go, and we're going live. No, it's already set up. And they're just going to be using this stuff now. That's it. That's all. That's what's going on. So here we are in March. FinPlus standards, information publication, ISO 20022, usage guidelines, messaging schemas, and message definition reports. So schemas and full documentations of new versions of new messages to be implemented in November 2025 on FinPlus cross-border payments remittance plus UHB SR 2025 final edition. In May, we have the vendor testing the new system. And why is that such a significant date? May 2nd. Check this out. Alright. I'll just go right to the website. Here we go. Homeland. No. Homeland Security. Here we go. Be Your Real ID Self. Deadline May 7th, 2025. Right? So we're going live. When I say we're, I mean people in the US are going live. They have digital IDs connected to the CBDC. They have anti-money laundering. They have counter-finance tiering. They have KYC. Yeah. They got KYC to know your customer. They know who you are. And with travel, FATF, Financial Action Task Force, with their travel rules, that now allows for, regulatory speaking, not just the digital wallet address to go from one wallet to the next with all the information, so it knows it came from my wallet. No one knows who my wallet is. No one knows who I am because it just has a string of numbers, letters, whatever. That's it. With the travel rules now in acting in adherence to regulations, what they're stating is now you need to have KYC, click, to be able to move these things, right? So that way they know the ID is traveling with the wallet information as well. Bam. The ID for the US, May 7th, 2025. I showed you the US one. Here we go, Canada, the DIACC. So the Authentication Council of Canada, DIACC, written submission for the pre-budget consultation. So they're trying to work this into March's budget that's just coming through, right? They are now in that budget. So I imagine sometime this is going live for Canada as well. Let's see what some recommendations are. That the government prioritizes digital trust in 4 areas critical to Canada's leadership and the privacy, security, and protection of our people and in industries, including digital trust in small and medium-sized businesses and e-commerce, digital trust in finance and regulations. Is that good? Here we go. Digital trust in public sector modernization and citizens services, and digital trust in public safety. Recommendation 2. That the government recognizes the necessity of embracing and prioritizing verification and authentication tools as part of its AI strategy. So it's AI strategy. This is where they're going to be using it first, right? As their strategy. Recommendation 3. That the government allocate the funding needed to support the adoption of digital trust tools to the benefit of government, business, and citizens alike. So now these recommendations are in that budget for this March. It's only March 25th still. So introduction. In today's geopolitical and economic climate, Canada needs to urgently act to maximize economic security, growth, and productivity, all of which depend on a foundation of trust in an era where digital transactions drive commerce, investment, and public services, ensuring the authenticity of identities, data, and financial interactions is essential for stability and long-term success. Without secure and privacy respecting verifications, businesses face higher fraud risks, increased compliance costs, and reduced consumer confidence. Investors and trading partners demand transparent, verifiable transactions and economic resilience, which depend on our ability to safeguard financial systems. So you see where they're going with this, right? They are making this the standard. They are going to make this the standard for you to be able to operate within this world. This is the standard. This will be in very, very soon. Very, very soon. Yes, new threats to economic stability are emerging at an unprecedented pace. I had a friend who's a teacher, and their school board had their computer hacked. They lost all those people's data, held up for ransom now. my friend's wife was just teed. I'm like, is there insurance for that yet? They're like, no. I'm like, well, it's coming. It's coming because data is the new gold. You better watch it. So for that to happen, there has to be a reason to implement it. Right? All these hacks happening, all these North Korean hacks, all these Ukrainian hacks, all these this and that and the other. Give the reason to exist, and then we can implement this. Right? Then we can implement this. We're over here now at the European Payments Council. So we went from US to Canada over to Europe now, okay? Verification of payee. Let me pull this up and show you when the implementation of this is. So to find out when that's being implemented, I'm here at the European Central Bank. The Euro system to offer verification of payee services. This will give us the information we're looking for now, because these are the ones who are going to be needing this installed. This is what they're going to have to do. So they're telling you what needs to be done now. So March 10th, 2025, that was 15 days ago, the Euro system has positively concluded its exploratory work for offering a verification of payee services for payment service providers, building on the services developed by Banco de Portugal and Latvia's Banca. The decision will help PSPs, payment service providers, in the single euro payment area, which is SEPA, to comply with their legal obligations for credit transfers in euro, as outlined in their regulatory book that they use there. At that section, they have everything documented right there at that section for what they want you to look up. Two payment solutions offered by these Eurosystem central banks have been designed in accordance with the VOP, verification of payee scheme, developed by the Euro Payments Council. The solutions will achieve SEPA-wide reach and will benefit from the coordination of the Eurosystem. Thus, any PSP in the euro area will be able to fulfill its obligations to offer VOP services to their customers by October 9th, 2025. All right, so now we have the date. We know what it is. Actually, we might not know exactly what it is. So the verification of payee scheme provides a set of inter-payment service providers, PSP rules, practices, and standards in the single euro payments area, SEPA, to be completed complied with by participants who adhere to the scheme. It also sets minimum conditions required in the payment service user to payment service providers space. The technical inter-PSP space specifications for the VOP scheme will be based on application program interface, or APIs, at this point here. So technology that makes use of ISO 20022 resource elements here. So let's just see how this works. A really quick video.
Fighting fraud and enhancing security in digital payments are key concerns for consumers, businesses, payment service providers, or PSPs, and governments. The European Payments Council's verification of payee, or VOP scheme, enhances payment security across the single euro payments area, also known as SEPA, and helps PSPs comply with one of the new regulatory obligations stemming from the Instant Payments Regulation. How does VOP work? When a payer, either an individual or a legal entity, initiates a payment, its PSP, the requesting PSP, will first send a VOP request to the responding PSP, which is the payee's PSP. This request includes the payee's IBAN and either their name or an identification code, like a VAT number. The responding PSP checks whether this information matches its records. It returns the result to the requesting PSP as a match, no match, or close match. If it's a close match, the correct name is included in the response. The requesting PSP informs the payer. If there is a match, the payer may authorize the payment. If there is a close match or no match, the payer decides whether to proceed or cancel the payment. The entire verification process is expected to take a maximum of 5 seconds. Technical implementation. To enable the VOP scheme across SEPA, the EPC defined a new application programming interface, or API, and is developing a new EPC directory service, the EDS. This service allows PSPs to publish their web addresses, or URIs, so that other participating PSPs can easily find them. By acting like a Yellow Pages or a search engine service, the EDS enables PSPs to safely send and receive VOP requests within SEPA. The VOP API is based on RESTful API technology and uses a simple JSON structure developed from ISO 20022 data elements. The API leverages the existing PSD2 open banking policies, security infrastructure, and certificates issued by EU-approved certification authorities. PSPs can either manage the VOP service directly or rely on technical service providers called routing and/or verification mechanisms, or RVMs, for support in managing the VOP service and accessing the EDS directory. How to join EPC's VOP scheme and the EDS directory. Joining the VOP scheme and EDS directory are essential. Even PSPs using RVMs should adhere if they want to meet the instant payments regulation requirements and remain part of the SEPA schemes. Visit our website for more information and join the verification of payee scheme for a secure payment.
So this is a company called Fincom, and they operate within the EU, and they will be the ones doing the EU's VOP adherence. It's a whole other company called Fincom, and they are ensuring that the EU will be in adherence to this VOP regulation with this entire tech stack that they're building out. So verification of a payee service by Fincom, and guys, this is the kind of stuff we go over in my Patreon here. Like I'm legitimately putting the pieces together here for you to show you when. I don't even want to call it when moon. Like, for me, the money's whatever. It legitimately is the journey now. I'm at the area in my mind where I understand I'm going to be wealthy. That's why we go about wealth strategies in the group. We go about wealth preservations. We talk about exit plans. I provide tons and tons of videos on the daily. I provide breakdowns of PDF documents as well to keep you engaged with what's actually going on. And it might be boring to read, so I try to find other ways to do it as well. I implement AI stuff that I create as well in terms of my writings, as opposed to me reading it or just having you guys write it. I try to implement AI as well. That way they read it to you and you can have it in your ears and go about your day as you want. Every other Monday, what we do, actually let me go to Sunday in the group. Every Sunday is what we do as a market outlook. That's myself and one of my buddies, this guy Jaden. He now has a Patreon as well, and in this Patreon there he'll teach you guys how to trade. He's very reasonable with his prices. He's new with being like teaching now. This is his first session here with teaching, but he's been a group member of mine for quite some time, and he's been teaching my group how to essentially read the charts. So he's providing still every Sunday sound education on how to read the charts, what the charts actually mean. And with that, on the market outlook in my group, I take things from a regulatory approach now, because regulations are what I understand. I've come from the heavily regulated industry known as aviation, and I translated that into finance. So all I'm doing now is teaching myself the financial aspect of what's going on through regulatory capture and implementation now. And I say regulatory capture because once regulation's in, you must comply within that guideline, or else get the fuck out. You're not operating within this ecosystem we're building. That's it. You either adhere to it or you don't. There is no, well, maybe. No. You either do or you don't. So here we go. Oh, so just to go back, I got sidetracked. I got passionate there. So that's Sunday. Mondays, every other Monday, another individual in my group, him and I, we go over real estate. We provide an understanding of real estate education as well. Help teach you to buy property, help teach you to leverage property, help teach you to use OPM, other people's money. I have a calculator within the group. I show you how to use this calculator, and this is all for $10 a month. Everything I'm telling you guys here, all for only $10 a month. My real estate mentor, who I learned real estate, I taught myself for 10 years, and then I finally found a real estate mentor I could trust. And in the first year, two properties purchased immediately, because I had created my calculator over 10 years. and I provide access to that. I give you guys this calculator here, meaning you can learn how to break down real estate as numbers, not just, well, I got told that I'm pre-approved by my bank. None of that bull crap. Right? This is a business. We approach as a business. I make it super simple for you. All right? And we schedule one-on-ones and we go through and I help you learn how to break down real estate. Every Wednesday, another individual in my group. My group is very generous and very giving. We go over DeFi, your top DeFi. We utilize the Flare ecosystem. We utilize Aerodrome ecosystems, specifically those two right now, but mainly Flare. The individual who provides the education, Flare Forward, solid guy, look him up. He has his own YouTube as well. He provides sound fundamentals on the Flare protocol, how to use it, what it is, how to leverage and earn yield upon yield upon yield, and he teaches you these skills here. And you don't need $100 or $1,000. You can put in 50 cents and learn this. Like, he teaches you how to utilize these things to take the fear out of this. And the reason you want to know these things from now, because once that money shows up in your wallet and you're like, holy shit, what do I do? You now have strategies on how to continue that, as opposed to dropping your selling your assets for something that's depreciating. Like, you go out and buy a car, go out and buy a house with zero strategy, zero understanding of what real estate's doing right now and how much it costs, right? Zero understanding. So you learn how to tap into DeFi, the cycles of DeFi, because everything has a cycle. Do you want to provide liquidity and liquidity pools with pairings? So which platform are you going to use? Are you going to go in staking? Are you going to yield farm? Like, are you lending? Are you borrowing? There are cycles for these things, and we go over this as well on Wednesdays. Every Friday, what we do, and this is Eastern, 7:30 Eastern, what we do, we go over Town Hall. And in this Town Hall, this is where myself and individuals, what I do is I bring outside individuals, subject matter experts, if you will. I have Digital Outlook coming this Friday. I'm just trying to confirm it with them. I've had Jay Claver on a couple times now, and he provided information to the group there about what his group does, about I guess wealth structures, having a corporation versus having a trust, having a corporation within your trust, how to tap into these things. We've been provided in the Mr. Man group with pre-IPO opportunities as well, right? We've who else have we had here? Jeez, we've had so many. Man, we've had a wealth of knowledge that come here every Friday. Like, it's just been blessing after blessing after blessing of people who's come by here. Like, the things we go through is just wild, just wild, just wild. So yeah, we go through a lot, and now here I am breaking this down for you guys. I'm showing you my credibility, and the reason I ask $10 a month, and you learn all of that, is because it provides accountability for yourself, right? When you got skin in the game, you're more likely to show up at that point. I know I have free people in my group, and a lot of free people choose not to speak. That's totally up to them. What they're doing with the information I provide, I don't know. But if you're within a group and the group has knowledge, by all means, I ask you speak up. That way we can get the conversation going. I can help you learn. I can help you gather information. I can show you where to get information as well. And so can the group. But if you choose not to say something, no one can help you. And if you're just trying to understand it on your own, man, it's hard. It is hard out there. I will not lie to you on that. There are people trying to scam you, take your money, don't understand what's going on, don't understand the regulations, and people are still talking about when moon. Who cares when moon, alright? Who cares when moon? We know it's going to moon. Get over it now and learn about what's going on so you can begin to set up your exit strategy. And not just for the money perspective exit strategy, but what's your new plan for your life at that point. I intend to not be in this little town that I'm in anymore. I'm moving out to a smaller town. I got 10 acres out there, building a small, tiny house on a flatbed with wheels, no property tax because it's not a fixed structure anymore. I got a creek around me. I'm gonna tap into that creek for energy, get some solar gates and a solar thing on top of the house at that point. I'm not utilizing any outside source and town source for my utilities at this point here. I'm off the grid. I'm off the grid. I pay no property tax. You either know I exist or you don't anymore at this point. I'm out of the system, but I know how to move within the system still, though, because I'm understanding this digital ecosystem that these individuals here are creating. And it's key to understand what they're creating, so you can choose to maneuver when in and out whenever you want, just like Neo did in the Matrix, all right? He knew how to plug in when he needed to and how to unplug when he needed to. So that's what we discuss in the Mr. Man group. I also offer $150 a month. And within that tier, the gold tier, we get we set up 4 meetings, 4 1-hour meetings throughout the month itself, and we can go over your portfolio. I'll help you fine-tune your portfolio. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a grown man in a Spider-Man mask who has a keen understanding of what's going on in the regulations globally, especially in certain jurisdictions like US, EU, Australia. I focus on and China's all of the BRICS, I would say. So what I do is we help teach you what's going on, how things are working, help you restructure and rebalance your portfolio to get you into projects, long-term projects, and tap into DeFi and tap into show you how to make more money through real estate, through, man, yeah, no, we take care of you well within that group, right? For $150 a month, you get the 4 hours spread out throughout the month, and we can figure this out here to help you accomplish what you need to accomplish and learn how to act and live your best life and reduce tax. Reduce tax. All right, let's continue. Let's continue this. I'm on a ramble there. Thank you, guys.
Are you prepared to comply with the EU instant payment regulations? Fincom's verification of payee solution empowers banks to reduce operational costs, combat authorized push payment fraud, and increase compliance. Fincom's verification of payee service is designed in accordance with the EPC scheme rulebook and the EU instant payments regulations. Using Fincom's verification of payee service, banks can instantly validate that the beneficiary's name and account number match the account registered in the bank. Fincom's sophisticated phonetic fingerprint name matching technology guarantees accuracy and speed, effectively handling different transliterations, spelling variations, and unstructured names across 44 languages. The verification of payee service smoothly integrates with payment and core banking systems through modern APIs. It features an intuitive user interface for settings, monitoring, and reporting, and efficiently handles a high volume of validation requests in real time, 24/7. Meet the EU instant payments regulations with Fincom's verification of payee service.
So we have verification of payee rolling out within the EU. We saw Canada, we saw US. So now in the US here's Congress moves. What was the first thing I was saying again now? Just to close this. Just going back. So Q1 was stablecoins. Q1 was stablecoins. Congress moves forward on stablecoin legislation. The US Senate Banking Committee approves the Genius Act. On March 13th, 2025, the U.S. Senate Banking Committee passed the Guiding and Establishing National Innovations for U.S. Stablecoins Act in 2025, or the Genius Act. The legislation would establish for the first time a comprehensive regulatory framework for the issuance and regulation of stablecoin payments in the United States. Due to the long bipartisan vote, the bill received in committee. The bill is well positioned to be approved by the full Senate. Further, U.S. House Financial Services Committee Chair French Hill has already signaled his intention to move forward with a similar proposal, the Stable Act, and President Trump has indicated he wants to sign payment stablecoin legislation. Accordingly, payment stablecoin legislation is poised to be enacted into law later this year. So we're on stablecoin, right? Where was it? So here we go. Let's hear what what's her name? I forget her name. She's from the GBBC. That's who she is. Okay, listen to what she has to say.
When you look at the regulatory priorities, though, they're not usually focused on that segment of the market at all. So even in the US, Q1 is completely devoted to stablecoins, and then Q2 is going to be market structure. And so actually, Simon, I think that I saw you posted something about this earlier, which is, stablecoins are surging ahead, crypto markets down. It's an interesting direction of travel when you see where the regulation is going and then where the market will potentially follow, which is something I bang on about all the time, is that good regulation actually can drive markets forward in a really helpful way.
Good regulation will drive the market forward in a positive way, right? So when we get sound regulations like that Stablecoin Act we had just seen there, we know SWIFT is going live on, they're going to have a trial vendor test for May. We saw the digital ID for US being implemented at this point here, so there will be some value, really, really small value, but value nonetheless with these stable coins moving at this point here within these cross-border payments. So there could be some shoots up at this point here. I don't know how it shoots up or how it looks, but there could be some more uptrend within some of these crypto assets, right? With vendor testings for the system at this point. Then there's the pilot. We have Fedwire going live in July 14th, 2025. For I showed you guys what it was, didn't I? For cross-border payments there from the US. And now we have SWIFT going live for pilot testing July 19th, was it? 5 days literally after the Fedwire goes live. How coincidental is that? Okay, and then we get down to November 22nd, 2025, the standard MX release at this point now. SWIFT is live. We had pilots, we have live. So within that, you're gonna start to see glitches within this system. You're gonna see prices shooting up, and people are gonna be like, "What is this? What's that? This is whatever." Glitch. I guarantee you, you're going to begin to see more glitches again, and people won't recognize what's going on. Those with eyes to see will, and ears to hear will have the ability to hear what's going on because their mind is open. You don't have to act like you have all the answers. Just act like you don't know what's going on, and you'll be able to take in more because I enjoy being the dumb one in the room, and others might consider me smart. I consider myself dumb. I enjoy being the dumb one in the room, where I can just soak up information by listening to these people talk and not assuming I'm right about everything. I could be wrong about so many things because I'm humbled, but I understand things differently and recognize patterns when I see them, though. So this is what David Schwartz had to say about what she's talking about there. Q1 is stablecoins, Q2 is market structure. Listen to the market structure we're talking about. And this is why I was telling you guys about DeFi, why you will need to learn this. Be early so you can tee off as soon as those funds show up. You're not just trading your assets for a depreciating asset or an asset. You can put some funds into DeFi, have DeFi continuously mint for you at that point. It keeps pumping out money. Your payments, your funds still sit here, but they're now working for you. Asset price goes up, take profit from asset price, put some into DeFi, whether that's staking, liquidity pools, farming. Make that money work for you. That money can now be utilized to go purchase something at that point because your DeFi is continuously minting and printing, and you're letting it move with the ebbs and the flow and earning and taking those earnings and now spending on something. That way you have more money from your initial investment on the back end of things, all right? It all depends on how you set up your life and what you want to do. Are you here for a quick time or are you here for a good time? I'm here to make generational wealth, man. Right? That's what I'm here to do, to make generational wealth. I don't care if I see none of this stuff. If I can set this stuff up for my family and I die, I've done my job and I've done it well. Anyways, here's what Joel Katz has to say. Joel Katz is David Schwartz, Ripple CTO.
So my third prediction is about what's necessary for mass retail adoption, for ordinary people to adopt blockchain networks and DeFi as like their go-to for financial services. And that's the same thing that makes the internet so great. What makes the internet so great is I can go to any website. I don't have to think about what technology they're using or where they're located. There's just a sort of universal experience. And we don't have that in blockchain yet. You very much have to think about what technology you're using, what services you're using, where's your money, what tokens are you holding. And my third prediction is that 2025 is going to be the year where cross-chain interoperability becomes the standard. We're seeing rapid advancements in this space, and we need to unify the blockchain ecosystem, and that's going to happen in ways that we've only been able to dream of so far. Data and assets will be able to flow seamlessly between different blockchains, creating a truly connected ecosystem, and we will get much, much closer to that internet experience where you can just go anywhere and do anything without having to think about what technologies are involved.
And you know what? We are like, I can see us. I can see it already. We are getting there. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Here it is here. Crystal now integrates with Aerodrome, the leading liquidity hub on Base. These are no longer siloed companies. They can interoperate and send funds one to the other very seamlessly, just like David Schwartz was predicting. Again, these people know what's going on already. These things already exist already. It's just regulatory unlock. Now you can use this. Now you can use this. Now you can use that. Boom. Right? That's how that goes. Liquidity pools on Crystal. Liquidity pools on Aerodrome. Brought to you by Crystal. Now it's interoperable. Aerodrome has been the top requested DEX by hours from now on. Where is it? Okay. From now on, LPers can enjoy doing liquidity pools on Aerodrome with Crystal. Maximize yield potential. Discover and supply liquidity to high-performing pools on Aerodrome. Effortless management. Instantly zap into pools with a single asset. Rebalance your position and compound rewards with ease. Smart automation. Enable auto rebalancing to maintain optimal range or automate your exit strategy. Holy shit, this is wild. Oh my gosh. Okay. Advanced analytics. Monitor your impermanent loss and track daily earnings for full control over your liquidity. No, this is boss. Oh my gosh, that's boss. That's sweet. Okay. Let me just woo-saw. So I've already read documents or shown you guys the SWIFT page there that show you it's going live November 22nd.
And I think perhaps at this stage it would...
November 22nd, 2022. I'm going to just let you hear this conversation here with the individual from SWIFT down here. This guy's from DTB in Kenya, I believe it is. And I don't remember where this individual is from, but listen to the conversation and then we'll continue.
It'd be good to indeed say a little bit more about this end of coexistence for payment instructions in November 25 and what it really means. So concretely, what it means is that as of the 22nd of November 25, which is the date of the standards release, we end the coexistence period for cross-border payments instructions. And so at that moment, all payment instructions must be exchanged in ISO 222 format, and we will no longer allow the exchange of fin payment instructions between financial institutions on the network. And we do this because instructions convey a systemic importance to the end-to-end interoperability between financial institutions and payment market infrastructure, and it is important indeed to preserve the data end-to-end and to finish the coexistence.
Okay, so I have back-end access into SWIFT, and I had to log in to get this document here. But this is the standard MT for November 2025 standards release, guys. I already shown you what was going live. November 22nd, 2025, and this came out just February 21st, 2025. This document describes updates to the standards release guide, the SRG, that have been identified since the publication of the SRG in last year, December 2024. So they just updated this now. So the summary of updates have to do with customer payments and checks, financial institutions, transfers, foreign exchange, money markets and derivatives, collections and cash letters, security markets, and they are removing what is this, MT 56564 rule C32, remove note regarding DSS. There's another remove note regarding DSS. What's the subsequent field 36 change to optimal? So they're talking about commodities and reference data documentary credits and guarantees, standby letters of credits, traveler's checks, cash management and customer status, and common group messages, and then the legal notices at the end there. I'm not going to read through this entire thing, but you guys need to know what's going on though. So the updates to the standard release guide, the SRG 2025, provides a list of updates to the SRG that was published in December 2024. The standards release guide and the updates to the standards release guide constitute the final documentation based on which SWIFT users and partners must implement the SR 2025. The live date for SR 2025 is the 22nd of November 2025. All updates mentioned in this document will appear in the standards MT user handbook, which due for publication on July 18th, 2025. So what they're going to be reading about now, they can learn about it in that July handbook. So following community consultation, it was decided that MT 101 will not be part of SWIFT's contingency processing solution plan as part of standards release 2025. So SWIFT MT 101, the start of MT message series is the MT 101. If there was a course MT's 101, then they might very well start it with 101, pun intended. But I get it. So MT101 is called a request for transfer message. It is a message that is used by corporates and banks on behalf of their customers to initiate a customer credit transfer. In simple words, MT101 will result in an MT103 or MT102. But let us not worry about it now. So in this article, we're not going to go through that. So that's what that is, okay? Where was I? This one? Yeah. So, under these exceptional circumstances, the standards release guide published on December 2024 was republished to reflect this decisions. And this, they have the guide here. So this document was, I don't want to read that. Let's go down. So summary of updates here. Oh, it's just a short. Okay, really, really short for the updates. There was no update to that. Okay. Okay, so let's just jump into see it, what the guide actually looks like. Okay, so here we are now in a new browser. I have to download to open this. Standards MT November 2025 Standards Release Guide. So let's see what welcome is. Standards Release Guide, or the SRG, describes the changes to the standards MT is effective as the cutover in the weekend of November 2022 to 2023, November 2025. The schedule release maintenance on Fin, and here's the information on that. There we go. Books. Let's see what you got. There we go. Customer payments. HTML will stay right in the website. And you can choose the category here on the left. It's like, this is sweet stuff, man. I'm telling you guys, this is sweet stuff. Here's the one-on-one transfers. Like, you have to be a geek to find this stuff fascinating. You know, I've lost a lot of friends, and I'm quite okay with that. Let me not make that seem like it's a bad thing. It is. So, let me paint this picture now of a world where Mark Carney, a governor, used to be a governor of the Bank of England, now in Canada, the acting prime minister, where in Canada they are creating a new stakeholders advisory council, I believe it is. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so here it is here. This is it here, right? Payments Canada. Stakeholder Advisory Council. And this is who Mark Carney is technically overseeing here now, acting as the Prime Minister of Canada, right, to give the final word, essentially. So the Stakeholder Advisory Council is a 20-person council that was established in 1996 and was formalized in the Canadian Payments Act in 2001. The council provides advice to our board of directors on payments, clearing, and settlement matters. The SAC members contribute to input, and okay, so they do that. And here they are, okay? Here's the members here. Here's the one that give input. And then Tiff Macklem, who oversees the Bank of Canada, and you got Mark Carney, a banker, who will be the one overseeing the liquidity management, because that's coming out shortly too. So within the Canadian government website here, they're talking about the backgrounder, liquidity adequacy requirements, guidelines for 2025. The government is talking about liquidity requirements, okay? The liquidity adequacy requirements guideline helps ensure federally regulated banks, bank holder companies, and trust and loan companies can support deposit withdrawals as well as meet payment and settlement obligations even during challenging times. Wow! Here we are now with trade wars. Canada's saying fuck US. US is saying fuck Canada. You have societally structured or social engineering taking place where it's Canada versus US hockey games. Hockey games. Right? Canada's known for its hockey. US is known for its hockey. Hockey games. The national sports, man. The national thing. You have football being used to socially engineer these events too. You get large amounts of people that go into these football stadiums and have to use tap now, and they're adopting these things without even realizing it because they're being slowly pushed into it. And how does it get further out at that point? From that football arena, it begins to spill out. You get the spillover effect now. What's a spillover effect? You want to pre-drink with your buddies outside the bar where it's cheaper than inside the stadium. Go out there an hour early and you pre-drink. They have tap as well, don't they? You can get an Uber to go to get to that location because you don't want to pay to drive down there. Gas is becoming too much now, right? Gas will increase eventually. And you have the spillover events. The spillover effect, essentially. Yeah, people now staying in that area because they're drinking and they don't want to drive, or they could Uber or just stay at a hotel and tap, digital tap. In Canada, employment insurance, known as EI, we receive this and we pay into it every month, or every paycheck, every 2 weeks, depending on how your paycheck is structured. So whenever you get paid, you pay into this automatically. It comes off. A percentage comes off. The government takes it off. They say it's for you. Should you ever need to use this, you can tap into this if you're off work, but you have to apply for it, which means you may or may not get it. Canada now, under Mark Carney's governance, is removing that waiting period, meaning you apply for it, you've gotten it immediately. It's connected to your phone. In Canada, when COVID came around, there was a thing called the CERB. That was our stimulus check. They now know, because a lot of Canadians, including myself, had attached to this thing. My wallet. The government has access to my wallet to just inject money into my wallet for these HST checks or these carbon credit rebalancing repayment things. Just tap it, send it out at this point. Just send it out at this point. Doge within the US is saying now we've managed to save a tremendous amount of money or reduce the bloat from all these people not working. So we can just give out $5,000 each to different people through the Doge initiative. This is a lot of money the government's giving out there. How are you going to receive it? Not via check? Nah, man. I guarantee they'll have you connect to the government right through your wallet. CBDCs already exist. In Canada, all I got to do is click the button twice on my iPhone here. It pulls up my wallet in the background, but then asks me to sign in with my face. And it asks you to sign in with your face after the double tap here and the face sign in, because that is a standard. That is a standard also. So that standard is known as the FIDO. That group is known as the FIDO Alliance. They're the ones who create these standards. Free yourself from passwords with passkeys. This is where it comes from. This is the governing. These guys do this. That's who it is. Now you know, okay? Why FIDO? Hacking related breaches involve stolen credentials. Then you have rise in malicious phishing emails. Yeah, they show you everything there. And this is where was it? The benefits are clear, right? And then they make these standard. Look, trusted brands or global brands that trust FIDO. Okay, look at this. Look who uses it. Everybody uses it because it's the standard, and this is the company that brings it to you, okay? So your CBDC already exists within the jurisdiction. I have after I've signed in with my biometrics, my face or your thumb, depending on what phone you're using, it could be older still. You have your debit cards all there. Could be your coupons there as well. In other locations, like in the East, in the BRICS area, in Philippines area, they have QR codes. We don't have them yet in Canada. I don't believe they're a predominant thing within the US either. So we just have our wallet here itself. So now as the world continues to fragment, and we're talking staking now, as the world continues to fragment, these digital dollars need to be able to show and prove that they are worth something. So that needs to stay within its own jurisdiction first. Have they been staked within their own jurisdiction already? And the words I'm using are very precise because, how long has it been? 15 minutes? Because with DeFi, there is a strategy known as staking. And staking allows the strength to be able to build within that ecosystem. If you go to Polkadot, and you stake Polkadot within the Polkadot ecosystem, you're creating stability and strength within that system. Same thing for this corporation of Canada, the corporation of US, the corporation of Europe. Right? Those countries are corporations. If they have staking within that region itself now, they are rebuilding strength within that digital currency that we as Canadians have already been using. Whether it's on a large scale or a small scale, we've been using it already. In Europe, they are offering what's known as a waterfall effect. So you can load up your CBDC with X amount of money. I believe the limit's 2,000 euros or 3,000 euros. And after that, it goes into it'll just pull from your bank account if you want to set that up. So that way you can just top up your CBDC accessing tool immediately, right? And a CBDC, you guys, is not currency. It's not a currency. People believe it is. They say it's an unbacked currency. CBDCs are simply the digital rails to this ecosystem. The central bankers control the digital rails for private money to move through. Private money like USDC, private stablecoin money like DAI, like RLUSD, like whatever else is going to be out there. And you must adhere to the digital banking rails that the central bank installed. And to use those digital rails, there's money coming off from these transactions. Because stablecoin issuers got to pay the big boys still. They're like, hey, we're not providing you guys digital rails for free. You gotta you want to operate in these rails? You gotta pay me, right? To recognize what I'm allowing you to bring your money into my ecosystem because I brought the rail, son. Right? That's how that works. Well, is there anything else I want to go over today? I don't think I do. Nah, I don't think I do. Well, it's been about 53 minutes now. Well, I hope you guys found something very, very useful in this. I hope you guys recognize that I bring a lot of heat. I'm not just your average, everyday Spider-Man, alright? I'm a grown-ass man in a Spider-Man mask. I understand regulations. I understand what these guys are putting together. I understand a lot of the dates of when they're doing it and the trigger mechanisms they're using. And we discussed this in our group as well. So if you guys are looking for a family to join in and to learn about what's going on in the digital space, I have my Mr. Man Patreon. I'll put the link in the bottom there. I'm also partnered with Caleb and Brown because I've learned that when times get tough or times get really good and you need liquidity because you know crypto's on the bull run at that point and you need liquidity, these exchanges will shut down. They will shut down. You will not be able to make your trade. It's happened to me. And at that point I recognized. I've heard from the past from people, but I figured, nah, maybe it's different. I provided myself a lot of exit ramps still, but still to try it and learn. And I did it and it didn't work. And I shut down and the exchange did not work. For 24 hours I wasn't able to move anything off of the exchange, the Coinbase exchange. I'm not talking ill about Coinbase. I'm just saying this is what happened from my experience. You don't want to be in that situation. When you want liquidity, you want someone who's going to be able to provide for you. And for me, that was and is Caleb and Brown. Glove service, you could chat to them whenever you want. You can execute your trades via your computer, via your phone, or give them a call, man. They're great people. But when you go, just tell them that Mr. Man sent you and they will hook you up. All right? Any other partnerships? So now that you understand that there's strategy to DeFi as well, I highly recommend checking out the Wealth 28 Club. You have Cyprus Dominicor as your mentor. I believe it could be a separate course as well. Actually, it is. It's a DeFi one, and then he has his trading course. And I know him through trading. He is my mentor, and he's the one who helped me understand and look at the charts and understand what's going on. And then you have DeFi, the Wealth 28 Club with Cyprus and Mr. Aquaman there. These names come to you from Twitter, so if you're looking for these two individuals, that's where they are. Cyprus is on YouTube as well, CypherX. Aquaman, I'm not sure, he could be on TikTok and Twitter, but I know him through Twitter X. And these two have a university they've started that teaches you what DeFi is. It's not just about you join this and now we're going to show you how to make money. It's you join it, you learn what DeFi is, you learn the ins and outs of DeFi, you learn how to mitigate your risks and reduce tax implementations. I believe they're teaching that as well. I could be incorrect in that last part there, but I know they're teaching you how to mitigate risks. I know they're teaching you strategies as well as ebbs and flows of the market and when to jump in, when to jump out, and you have a group that you can be a part of as well on the Discord and keep in contact with them. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. These two, they are good friends of mine. We met up in November, actually, of last year during the XRP and Rigged out in Houston, and we went out to the show together. I flew out of here, my small town, out to Houston, met up with Cyprus. Aquaman came out of the West Coast there, and the three of us, man, it was fun. It was real good times, no word of a lie. But back on track here. We have the individual CBDCs and their staking, as I was telling you guys. And now we are beginning to join platforms, seamlessly integrate and join platforms. I've shown you how the apps are doing that. And now you see how the CBDs will do that for cross-border payments. Okay. Connecting digital islands, CBDCs, results of SWIFT's experiments, interlinking CBDC networks. Remember, CBDCs are platforms. They are the rails for which money can move within, right? They are not money. They are the rails with the regulations that guide where money goes. And existing payment systems to achieve global interoperability. So this is talking about the MCBDC model here. So the SWIFT Phase 1 experiment, SWIFT Phase 2 experiment, and solving interlinking challenge. And it goes down. So these things, again, okay, so there's a growing momentum towards exploring CBDCs among central banks globally. A recent report from the BIS observed that 9 out of 10 central banks are now exploring CBDCs. I believe the number was 94% as of today, covering economies that account for more than 90% of global GDP. An increasing number of these central banks are in the advanced stages of exploration, with 9 countries already live with their own digital currency. Remember, the digital currency is the stablecoin from the private company. With 9 countries, okay, most notably Nigeria and the Bahamas. Others, meanwhile, are researching, developing, and experimenting as they seek to understand and make design choices for their future CBDCs. So to give you insights into the e-Naira, that's what we're looking at here, right? They said the Nigerian CBDC had gone. Now they have the e-Naira. Those are the digital rails there, brought to you by BitInc. BitInc awarded contract to create the e-Naira. Not only was it that, but within that, they also had this. BitInc and Stellar Development Foundation selected as finalists for the Global CBDC Challenge. So those rails are brought to you by BitInc, Stellar, I believe it's G&D or whatever, and a few other companies as well. So this is a big thing, right? There's stacks and there's levels to this. It's not just one crypto company and that's it. There are numerous levels to these things here in terms of digital ID, AML, KYC, CTF. There is the jurisdictional regulations that need to be implemented. There are so many levels to this. It's not just one blockchain to rule them all. There's bridges involved, like the PeerSys side bridge, like Cosmos ecosystem. Atom, with all those different bridges like Axelar for the messaging service, like Corium with that adheres to ISO 20022, which connects and acts as a bridge for faster payments, for money to go cross-border. There's levels to this. It's never just one thing, okay? Never. Never, 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 never. There are numerous levels to this. What time is it? I gotta get ready to leave, actually. So, let me go back up here quickly. I gotta get ready to leave. What I want to see here, the MCBDC within the SWIFT model. Look at this. The BIS multi-CBDC arrangements. So transfer between CBDCs offered by a multitude of competing private companies benefiting from compatibility measures and broadly similar participation requirements. CBDC systems separately determine rulebook and governance separately. So they have their own. The MCBDC connects at a focal point known as the M bridge or BRICS bridge now. Within that BRICS bridge, you have a CBDC guardrails, but there's a mechanism that allows those currencies, those stablecoins to swap continuously as they're going cross-border within those CBDC rails, within that focal point or that corridor, if you will. It's a CBDC corridor within those rails, and within those rails you have an MCBDC, this thing moving, a multi-CBDC location, and something that reduces the friction of these individual siloed platforms, right? You have Canada's platform, you have the US's platform, you have Euro's platform, Asia's platforms, UK's platform, and within those, for cross-border, you need something with lubrication, something with liquidity that can continue to swap all these assets. I mean, there's a few things I can think of. You know, we saw Stellar involved already on the retail side of things. I'm sure XRP is involved, especially with all these central banks working with them. But what do I know? I know they got 1,700 NDAs just waiting to unlock. But what do I know? Well, I gotta get ready to go. I have an appointment. I hope you guys found value in this here. I will see you on the next one.
We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.